so much for joining me today. I'm so excited that we're able to have a quick chat on here for my audience and my clients. So I'm just going to let everyone know who's tuning in what this video is about, and then I'll just give you the floor. So for everyone who's watching, Amy was a client of mine. I actually helped her and her husband sell her home recently here in town, and I had an amazing experience with them. Amy was so intuitive about how to sell a home, and she was really receptive to my checklist of how to get things ready, and she was so excited to give me her ideas and her perspective. So it was just great to have this dialogue throughout the transaction of her experiences previously selling a home and how to prepare her home for sale. And so I basically have asked her here today to share with us and with you, my audience, what it is that she did to prepare for her home and what tips and tricks that she has kind of learned along the way that she wants to share with people that are looking to sell. And coming from an actual client of mine is just so powerful and so amazing. So Amy, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to just give you the floor. So go for it.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for that kind opening. I appreciate that. This house that we were going to sell, a different experience. It was more planned. We had, we had time. And so regardless of if you have not that much time, because sometimes life just throws things at you and you have to just roll with it, versus you have time, maybe a year out, you're going to have to sell. There are things you can do to sell your home. My first home sold it in 2 weeks. This home that Victoria helped us with sold in less than 48 hours. So I was amazed. So I wanted to start with, I personally have a philosophy when selling a home, and this is my philosophy. It is not how you live in it, it is showing others how they will live in it. And I think the hardest thing to, maybe as a realtor, is to walk in someone's home and just to say to them, listen, this is not personal. This is not about your taste. This is about selling your home and showing others how to live in your home. So I think that's the hardest part, I would think, for a realtor to express to a new client. Okay. And so with that, you had asked me how I had prepared my home for marketing and the 3D virtual scan. And I liked, Victoria, that in all your information that you had given, you had a home staging tips for a seller. And I thought that was amazing, because I have helped neighbors who have put their house on the market. And I was under the impression, because I feel like I am more a design kind of person, putting things together. I'm not a realtor. I really have no desire to be a realtor. I'm more like staging and styling homes. And so in that regard, I helped some neighbors, but I came to find out that a lot of realtors maybe didn't give this information to their clients. And when that happens, I've noticed a lot of homes could be on the market for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 3 months. And in that, a homeowner will get frustrated, and I'm sure an agent will get frustrated. And so if we take these tips and realtors express them to their clients, it's like, I told you when we talked and met, I said, I'll do me, you do you, and we'll sell a house. And so I just kind of wanted to go through your tips. You had 8 of them in your information, and I just put some notes. I thought they were great. You said, consider the curb appeal. Exactly, because the first impression of a home is the curb appeal, the front door. And so I would even go as far as freshen up, paint, fascia, trim, possibly even the garage door. And like I said, this is if you have time, and while you're living in your house, maintain it. It makes it easier. Number 2, you said get rid of clutter and stuff. I always advise people or recommend get a storage. Get a storage and put most of your stuff in a storage. Nobody likes walking through a house seeing all your stuff. It's an eyesore, and it doesn't help. Okay. Depersonalize the house. This one I was really kind of shocked. I'm surprised how many people don't take down their personal photos. I really, really am. I thought that was just a given, nothing personal. I did one house, it was a neighbor. Their house was on the market for 6 weeks. And I was like, gosh, that's kind of a while. So I went on Zillow and looked at their photos, and I was like, oh, okay, I can see this. So we kind of knew them, and I approached and I just said, hey, could I just give you some tips? And they were kind of like, yeah, they didn't really agree with it. But I was like, look, you like hunting and duck pictures, but nobody really likes a duck. And he was like, you don't like a duck? And I'm like, no, for you, it's great, but selling your house, you don't want people to just focus in on the duck pictures because they need to look at the house, no distractions. So depersonalizing the house, anything personal, anything with a name on it, any photos, which I think most people know, but I'm surprised to see how many homes have them. The other one you said, wash the windows inside and out, clean your kitchen and bathrooms. You had number 6, remove all personal photos. Number 7, repaint your home. Okay, I've seen homes with red walls, green walls, pink walls, lavender walls. Listen, like I said, when you personalize your house for you to live in it, great. But when you want to sell your house, not everybody wants a red wall. Not it, and paint, if you can, paint it a neutral color. Because when people are looking through, they're looking, where can I put my couch? Where is it? That's not going to go with my couch. And right there, they're hindered possibly making an offer on your home because that's all they're thinking about. So I always say, take out all the guesswork, all of it. Don't let them have one thing to complain about. Okay. And then you said, excuse me, buy, borrow, or rent what you need. Exactly. But I do agree most of the time, I am or would advise people to take half of the stuff out of their house. Half of the stuff out of their house. Another thing I see is because the floor plans are so open and you have like a great room with the kitchen and everything is open, it's kind of hard to design, like figure out where your furniture goes. And what I see a lot of people do is they push their furniture against the walls. And I'm like, no. If you have all tile or hardwood, put a throw rug down. Put your furniture so it's warm and cozy and not up against a wall. Just a little styling tip there. If you do need to borrow something, try to borrow something from a friend, a family member, or go to Home Goods, get something. If it's just for that house or just for the pictures, get it. And then, you know, most of these return policies, especially with Hobby Lobby, you got like 90 days. Home Goods is like 30 days. Get it, get your photos done, return it. Unless you really, really love the piece, keep it, okay? And then the only other thing is a lot of people have those little plugins. Some of them can be really, really offensive. The smell of your home is really, really important. So my favorite candle, if you want to, bake cookies so the house smells like fresh cookies. If not, my favorite candle that you cannot go wrong with is at Anthropologie. I think you can get it at Nordstrom's too, but it's Capri Blue Volcano. Best candle ever. I get one every year, okay? Because they are a little pricey. So, and then your third question was, what are your main pieces of advice for those looking to sell? And I wrote down 3 points. Number 1, interview your agent. Interview your real estate agent you're thinking of signing with. I've in talking with people that had their house for sale and it didn't sell real fast, or they ended up taking it off the market, they were discouraged with their agent and they felt like their agent didn't do enough. And I was like, you need to be your own advocate and you need to interview your agent. What are they going to bring to the table? How are they going to help you go through this whole process? And so my number 1 thing would be your own advocate through the process and interview your agent. Number 2, I said, excuse me, educate yourself. Look at comparable homes in the area with your square footage. Understand the market you're selling in. And I just put be reasonable in pricing your home. Sometimes people are like, I want this much money for my house. And if the agent's like, listen, that's not the market, or you know what, it might sit, it might be on the market for a while, you know, that can be discouraging too. So I would just say be reasonable in your pricing of your home and really work with your agent, and don't be too unrealistic about it. And then number 3, I kind of did like an equation kind of. I said with a good agent, the right price, and a staged home equals a home sold.
I love that. That's the best thing. You've never taught me that one yet. I love that.
I just wrote it down today.
I love it. I actually did. You inspired me to write a blog post based on what you'd said in the beginning, where it's not about how you live in your house, it's how you show others how they're going to live in it. And when you first had said that to me, it was like you took the words out of my brain that I had not been able to put into the correct sentence. And I loved it so much. I did actually write a blog post inspired by you for that. And I'm just so grateful to you. All the things that you're touching on, it's so refreshing to have such a receptive seller that is willing to help. And like you said, you did you, I did me. We worked together as a team to get your house on the market with the best marketing, the best photos, the best foot forward. And then we were able to sell it very, very quickly. And I think just having this mindset and being able to share with my future clients and sellers out there, and even other agents, this is the refreshing mindset and the refreshing attitude almost, that if you have these things lined up as a seller, whether you have the time and you can do more, or if you're kind of crunched, take the main most important things and do those, it really is going to matter, because the market right now, it's very competitive for buyers, and there's a lot of buyers out there, and we do have low inventory. So right now there's going to be a lot of people that want your house, but put your best foot forward so that the best, most qualified buyers who are serious about buying in the price range that you're pricing your home in are going to come forward with an offer.
Exactly. And there was one house, the one I was talking about previously, it was on the market for 6 weeks. And when I approached them and I said, listen, there's really no reason why your house hasn't sold. And they were like, we haven't even gotten one offer. And we have open houses every weekend. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I said, okay, could I give you some tips? And they were like, yeah, the husband was a little like, this is not going to work. And I'm like, I understand that, but if you just watch, I promise you, okay? I promise you. And I know some people think staging a house, I mean, I'm not saying, I think the majority of real estate agents know that it works. But getting the client to do what they need to do on their part would be beneficial. And so I think it's hard to get that across. And so I told them, I said, listen, just let me help you. Okay. Because they were a transfer and they didn't have a lot of time. And I said, I'll show you. And so we literally had 4 days. And in 4 days, we did what we could, because they had a showing like on the Friday, and we started on Monday. So Monday to Thursday, we worked on their house. They had a showing like, I think Friday or Saturday, whatever. That weekend, they had a huge open house. They had an offer accepted and in escrow. There you go.
Wow.
It works.
That's amazing. Yeah,
it works.
Absolutely. Yeah, you really have to cater to the trends that are going on in today's market, in today's world, and all of these pieces of, like you said, the staging and the minimalizing, and taking things out of the home and making it so they can see themselves in there. That is the key. That's the key to the marketing side of selling a home. And like I said, I just have appreciated so much. Our transaction together was so smooth, and it was fun. The dialogue I've had with you, I've loved getting to know your experiences in the past and the things that you're bringing to the table with, your ideas and your enthusiasm for this. And, I'm kind of sad that you're leaving the state. I'm excited for your family, but I wish you were staying locally, because I love to pick your brain and dialogue with you about this. It's just been so refreshing to be able to work with someone like you that sees it and is receptive, and we can kind of bounce the ideas back and forth off each other. So I just really wanted to take time to make a video with you you and share with my audience, you know, it's something that's so important, and it's something you really need to think about when you are going to sell your house. There is a method to all the madness, and it's so great to be able to talk to you about this.
I appreciate it. Let me just share two more things. Another thing I noticed is closets. People want to see the closet, and what I advise people to do, especially in your master room, take half the clothes out. Take half the clothes out. And people are like this, oh my gosh, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, listen, you work hard in the beginning, it'll pay off. And usually that's why I'm not saying in a market where there's like not a lot of inventory and houses are just going, but I'm just saying even in that case versus, 48, 72 hours versus 3 weeks. Okay. And so the closets, take at least half of this stuff out of the closets. Really, okay? And then the other thing, when you're living in your home, I would advise people, obviously the regular maintenance of your air condition, your water heater, paint, or just any little things that break down, keep them up. And then what I've done in my this is my second time, but in this house and my first house, is I did like a maintenance binder for the new owners with, I'll put like who I use for the lawn for fertilizing and that kind of things, or who serviced my AC or my water heater. Any paint colors, if they need to match, instead of taking a chip off, they at least have a color. Just all these little things, and then service records so they know who I used. And especially if it's a first-time buyer that's never owned a home before, it can be overwhelming. And so that's what I've always done when I've sold my house for the new owners. And then like a manual for things that are left in the house, like the blinds, the fans, the range, the microwave, whatever it is. I know a lot of people go online, but at least if they have something and they're like, oh, it's that model, it's helpful. So I always leave these behind in my homes that I sell. And I think it's a nice touch. And I think the new owners feel like if it's not a brand new home that they've built themselves through a builder, that they're at least like, you know what, this home was taken care of, and we at least know who to go to until we can find out, we like this company over here better than that one. And so those are just a little more tips that I do when I sell my home.
Definitely. Those binders really, they impressed me, and I'm a very organized, put together person. And when I saw those, I was so impressed. And I think it's something that if I was buying a home with those, if my buyers were buying a home, because even the buyers that are buying your house, who I also represented, expressed to me, they were so over the moon excited about receiving those binders from you. And I know as a buyer personally, I would just appreciate that so much. And I'd feel so sound and confident in everything in the home and know exactly what's there, when it was put there, and the manuals, like you said, the model number,
right.
Being able to research any maintenance or repairs for it. So that's a huge takeaway. And I think I would love to see all sellers doing that, because it really just puts that cherry on top for those buyers, and it really helps. It just shows that you cared for the home and that you care that these buyers are going to purchase a sound house that you've clearly loved and maintained, and they can see all the records to show. So that was a great little cherry on top, and I so appreciate you sharing that as well.
Okay, and then if you live in an association, maybe a binder for the CCRs, just because you have that, and who wants to go looking for that stuff? And so, like you said, it's just a nice touch, and it just puts you above the rest. And as far as, like I said, I sold 2 homes, and my other real estate agent was great, but I do have to say, working with you was a godsend, and I've enjoyed working with you. You made the process that can be stressful not stressful. You were very attentive, and you worked so hard, and I appreciate that, and I know my husband does too. And so if anybody out there needs a real estate agent in this area, call Victoria because she was amazing. She was
Oh,
amazing.
thank you so much, Amy. I so appreciate you saying that. I really loved our transaction. It was amazing and getting to know you guys. Like I said, I'm sad that you're leaving. It's bittersweet, but I'm so grateful that we were able to meet and I was able to take you through this process. And thank you so much again for your time and doing this video for me because it means a lot to me and I'm just so grateful and I'm so excited to share it with all my clients and my audience.
Oh, well, you know that little MasterCard commercial? It was priceless. Selling this house, it was priceless. Like I said, I feel like, you know, God was blessed me, you know, with us being able to work together. And so I truly appreciate that. And maybe with this Zoom and all that, we can do other little tips and tricks for people who are in their homes and because there's so much to talk about.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like endless. My middle little like magic light just died.
Yes.
So so now I'm in the dark. But no, absolutely. You're right, 100%, Amy. And I think I would love to continue this. You know, any little things that you think of from the side of a client of mine, from the side of, you know, the other side where it's not the real estate agent, because you saw my list. I can give, you know, that list to all my sellers and I can sit there and yes, I'm in this every day, all day. So I would like to think that I do have the expertise to pass on, but hearing it firsthand from a seller who have had the experience and knows as much as you do and, you know, clearly have a skill for it, it really is so priceless to me to be able to share that. So anything that you can think of, I'm happy to continue doing videos and sharing it with my audience.
And just one last thing, and it can maybe be another little topic we could do for just real estate agents, is to understand and be able to get that across to the client. And before you even sign, this is just me talking, before you even sign, walk through the house, know what should be done, maybe educate yourselves as agents and understand and tell your client, look, this, and this would need to be done. Makes my job easier and we'll sell it a lot faster. And there's a lot you can do in a week if you don't have tons of time, but you hit those main things and make them do it. It would make real estate agents jobs a lot easier. And if you want to do something like that, we can, because I can get really detailed. Another thing is if you have like my old house had a huge master bedroom. This house, it wasn't huge. And so, you know, there's things you can do to make the room look bigger. You can position furniture, you can mount TVs, you can do so much to show a person how to live in that room, even if it's a small master. So many things you can do, little tricks of the trade that even if the real estate agents knew this, prior to signing their clients, the transaction would go smoother. And I do believe homes would sell a lot faster.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really about the knowledge. You know, if you've had the experience and you have the knowledge and you have that skill and that vision for the design, like you said, designing the room with the furniture, like just moving furniture around in a certain way, it really can make all the difference. There's always a lot to learn. And I think that's definitely something, just being able to adapt and take on any new information that is going to make a transaction with you and your clients. You know, it'll be more beneficial, it'll be smoother. And I think that also from the customer service level of being a real estate agent, keeping yourself educated on these things, keeping yourself, you know, in the know of what is trending, what are people looking at, what is the competition, what are the other photos, you know, are you competitive, are you appealing to the right buyers, and are your photos really showcasing the house appropriately? So all of this definitely encompasses that customer service aspect of being a real estate agent, for sure.
It's not about spending tons of money and being a decorator. It's about an eye and positioning stuff and utilizing the space. But I use homeowners, their own things.
Yeah,
if
definitely.
I might go out and buy one or two things that if they don't fall in love with and purchase, I return it, because there have been times where, you know, I purchased a couple things for one room and the homeowner fell in love with them and they bought them. They were like, I'm taking that to my new house. And I'm like, no problem.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind too. People think, oh, I got to go buy new furniture. I can work with a lot of what people have. It's just moving it around.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. That's good. Yeah, it helps. It doesn't need to be an expensive endeavor. It just needs to be strategic.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Amy. All this information is just so helpful and so beneficial. And like I said, I just love hearing it from a client's perspective, a seller's perspective, because clearly these tactics do work. And, not everyone's going to have an eye for the design, but that's why as an agent, I do my best to guide and counsel my clients on what is best to do. And I just always hope and pray that they're receptive and, take the guesswork out for the buyers, and let's market your house the best way we can and get it sold. Any other ideas that you come up with, let me know. I'd love to keep, funneling this content to my audience and my clients, because it's really so beneficial, and just not everyone has this information and knows how to do this, as far as staging or designing or getting their house just ready to market properly for sale. And that's definitely the number one thing right now, is
Right.
especially with everything being virtual and digital, we've got to have a really good online presence with pictures and with staging. And it's really a big topic right now in real estate. So I so appreciate you. Thank you again. I really have just loved working with you, and thank you so much for all the tips and tricks and insight you gave me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Let's do it again.
Definitely. Let's do it again soon.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Amy. I
Okay. Thank
appreciate
you.
you. I'll talk to you
Okay.
soon then. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.